Good morning, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Gumball Sports Machine. I'm your host, Jamal Gumball, aka Jamal Gumball. And once again, I'm joined by Big Kev, aka Kevin, aka
K
uh,
Money.
K Money, aka No Love Kev, aka
Kevsters.
Kevsters, aka Kev Shiesty. Kev,
All
what's going on, dude?
right. I'm leaving the show.
Why?
Because why is there so many AKAs?
Cause, bro, you are a lot of you're a lot of different personalities all mixing into one Kev.
Alright, I'm leaving now.
Oh, okay. Well, it was oh, that scared me. Well, yesterday, what it was kind of a quiet day until later in the day, and so with that, as every day, we start off in the first segment of the show going over the top stories of the day, last 24 hours, whatever the case is, in a first segment called Something to Chew Oh, right. This something to chew on shouldn't be too long. Not really too much to talk about, and also we're gonna go over a lot of it later. But dare I say, blockbuster trade in the NBA. Mikal Bridges goes and reunites with his Villanova teammates in New York on the Knicks. Again, with Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. Those are the three teammates. But then he also joins Julius Randle, possibly OG Anunoby if he resigns. Kev, what were your official or initial reactions? Obviously, we're going to get more into it in the next part of the show. But what were your initial reaction when you first saw this trade?
I had a feeling that it was gonna go down. I mean, Mikel did show interest in wanting to go to the Knicks. Especially with his Nova teammates over there. I mean, when you have three of them that you played for 2 seasons or 3 seasons with over back in Villanova, you're gonna want to go over there, especially with the success that the Knicks had this past season, being the 2 seed, short, being coming up a little too short. But I think Mikhail saw that well, what they're brewing up in New York, and I mean he was practically still in New York, but he wanted to go a couple of miles down the road and see what the Knicks had brewing up over there. Brunson, Hart, even Genso. I mean, all of them they played their roles. Living up to their expectations. Some exceeding expectations, like Josh Hart and DiVincenzo. But I think Bridges was showing interest in going to New York, and they got the deal done. Do I think it was worth that many first round picks? Maybe not. Especially how much they gave up for Mikal Bridges in a second round pick. You could have gone away with maybe four first rounders or something like that, but I think five, and I think there was five or six, right?
It was five first rounders,
Yeah,
five first
like
rounders and a second rounder.
yeah, like and then Boyan Bogdanovic as well, and I think
Yeah,
I think I think they gave up a little too much for Mikal, but I think they wanted to get the deal done, and they were willing to give up that many first round picks for Mikal Bridges.
yeah. I love the addition of Mikal Bridges for New York. I'm gonna really elaborate. I'm gonna say some stuff that people might not agree with here in a few minutes, but I love it. I love the trade. Um, I think they're gonna do extremely well. Um, Again, did they give up a lot for him? They absolutely did. But excuse me. But I think it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out very well, and I'm very excited to see. Um, but that trade happened. U.S. all-time U.S. Olympic soccer team, maybe possibly the greatest woman to ever play on the U.S. women's soccer team. Alex Morgan is off the U.S. soccer team as they go into Paris this year. The era is ending. Alex Morgan era is ended, and in terms of playing on the U.S. soccer team, Kev, I know you watch. I know you watch some soccer, especially when it comes to the Olympics and the World Cup. You're familiar with Alex Morgan?
I know Alex Morgan. I mean, I was watching the 2018. World Cup for the women's team. That was the last time I really got into it. I didn't tune into 2022, but 2018 was like the last one that I really was like tuning into.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I've watched like a lot of when it comes to the Olympics. I've watched the women's soccer. Alex Morgan obviously being fantastic, and being a huge part of their run. But um, it's end of an era in the Olympics. Um, this was kind of this was just funny. I now college baseball. I don't watch too much college baseball. I watched a little bit of the men's college World Series, not like too much of it. But and I know I'm saying this name wrong. Jim Schlossnagel, the previous head coach at Texas A&M, well now previous Texas head coach at Texas A&M, lost in the college World Series, and he told the reporter straight up. I wish I had the clip, but he told the reporter straight up. Or the reporter asked him, "Hey, there's rumors of you leaving and going to Texas." And the reporter, and he told him straight. He straight up told the reporter, um, "That's disrespectful for you to even ask me that. Um, I left my family to come take this job. I came and took this job um, with the intention of never having to take another job again. Um, this is, I put my heart and soul into this. Da, da, da. Not 24 hours later, Kevin, not 24 hours later, he becomes the Texas Longhorns coach, Texas baseball Longhorns coach, and completely lies about everything that was said on that podium after they lost the World Series. So and in football terms, I give it to you. It's like if the Patriots lost the Super Bowl, and Bill Belichick comes up and says, no, I'm not leaving. This is my home. This is where I'm going, and this is where I'm going to stay. This is where we're going to work, and I put my heart and soul into this. And then 24 hours later, he goes and signs with the Bills to become their head coach. So how would you react to something like that?
I'd laugh. I gotta get a laugh out of it. It's straight up lying to the media like that, and then not too long after, you go sign with another team, and I think, and the fact that he brought up about family and having his family there and all of that, and then only to just leave shortly after, like I think it's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And I don't think I've ever seen a better gaslight job than what I saw from him. That was, I mean, he was like, "You're disrespectful for asking that question. You should know this." Like, and he was just dogging him. And then, literally less than 24 hours later, he goes and signs with not only just a random school, but the rival school, the Texas Longhorns. So, I mean, that's just pathetic. And it's funny that you said it. It's funny, but it's pretty pathetic to see him to do something like that, especially to somebody who's just doing their job, and then to go out and do exactly what he said he would not do. So that was funny. That's kind of been a big story the past few days. But told you that was a short. That was a short. Oh no, I one more thing. NBA draft is tonight. NBA draft is tonight, starting at 5. Still, uh, don't know for sure if I'm gonna do a draft show yet, but I will post on also my social medias if I will. But um, draft is tonight. So Kev, I want to ask you, who do you think is the is going to be the number one overall pick? I think Zachary Arisachet is the favored. Is the favorite to go number one? Who do you think is going to go number one?
Alexander Sarr coming out of France, 7 feet 1.
Alex R, you think is going to go number one
Yes, sir.
to Atlanta?
I think it's probably by default the best option for them, because you have the uncertainty of Clint Capella if you want to keep having him on the roster, and then Onyeka Okongwu. We've seen flashes of what he can do, but is he able to defend bigs on a daily basis, night to night basis, especially being only 6 feet 8? So, and then none of those guys offer spacing the floor as well. When you bring someone like Alexander Sarr, Not only can he defend at 7 feet one, he can also get that three ball down too. So I feel like it's something where if you want to bring back Trey and Dejounte, I feel like you bring in Alex Sarr. I'm not sure if he'll make an impact right away, but he's someone where I think it will be a good fit for them going number one overall.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like you said, Onyeka Okongwu is not exactly the offensive threat that you look for. He's very good defensively. He's been very good defensively since he came out of college. But he's very good defensively. He's not exactly the offensive threat that I think Atlanta is looking for. I think Alex Sarr is exactly that. I think Alex Sarr can bring that offensive threat and his ability to score in Alex Sarr. And I think Zachary Risachet can do the same thing. So I think that definitely it's going to be one of those two guys. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be one of those two guys. And then it's going to be interesting to see what happens after that because it's Atlanta, Washington, Houston, San Antonio, and Detroit are the first 5 picks. So, I mean, definitely see Alex Sarr go in that top 5. Definitely see Zachary Risachet go in that top 5. Donovan Clingan, I think, however you say his name, will most likely be a top 5 pick. And possibly Rob Dillingham. Rob Dillingham is also in there. So, and we're going to talk about who we want our teams to take a little later in the show. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But that's going to wrap up today's Something to Chew On. Very short, not too much going on other than the blockbuster trade that happened last night, and in which we're going to get into right now. Mikal Bridges. Let me find the specific trade because there's a lot that New York gave up for Mikal Bridges. Okay, so stay with me. The Brooklyn Nets. This is per Woj, obviously, on Woj's Instagram. Per Woj, the Brooklyn Nets have agreed in principle on a trade to send Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks for Bojan Bogdanovic, 4 unprotected first-round picks, a protected first-round pick via the Bucks, an unprotected pick swap, and a second rounder. So in total, the Knicks are sending 4 unprotected picks, a 2025 protected Milwaukee first, a 2028 unprotected pick swap, and a 2025 second round pick. And the Nets are getting Mikal and a 2026 second round pick back in return. So Kev, what was again? You kind of mentioned it in the first time of the show. Does this make the Knicks the favorite in the East?
Jamal, we talked about this, and I talked about it with you separately off air. I'm not sure if it's on air as well, but off air. You and I might think differently because I know you're gonna get into it. And you did say that I'm not gonna elaborate on it, but you did say that they will win the East. Um, or they might be the second best team in the East. I'm not sure which one you said, but I feel like it's a team where adding Mikal Bridges is gonna help them, a lot better, a lot more, especially what he offers to the table, being a two-way threat. I just unless you're able to have Julius Randle the full season where he's healthy, that's a big three that everyone should watch out for, especially with the role players that they have. Dante, Josh Hart, Miles McBride. I could see him having even better year. Um, so I mean, it's they have a very deep team. They have they have lots of depth on that team. I'm just not sure how they would be able to beat the Boston Celtics, in my opinion, because I still got Boston as the heavy favorite in the East. I think New York now slides
Heavy.
up to the number 2 spot in the East, behind Boston. Because before that trade went down, I did have Philly ahead of them, and possibly Milwaukee. But after this trade went down, New York is probably the second best team in the East now.
Let me tell you something, bro. A lot of people may not like this. Well, first of all, I have a new favorite team. So I just want to point that out there. I'm now a Knicks fan. But
So you're no longer a Suns fan, huh?
no, because
That's tough.
No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna get into that more later. But let me tell you something, bro. I'll tell you right now. The Celtics are the best team in the East because of the way they just ran through the East and ran through everybody to get to the championship. I'll tell you, I'll give you that right now. Come next season, the Knicks will be in the finals. If they stay healthy. If they stay healthy, come next season, the New York Knicks will be in the finals. Let me tell you why. They have Jalen Brunson, who is absolutely a top 10 player in this league and the top 3 point guard in this league. And based on the way he played in the playoffs, if he plays like that again next year, alongside Mikal Bridges, alongside Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein, OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart,
If they resign Hartenstein, which is unlikely if they're able to bring back OG Anunoby.
Which is true. Which is very true. But you still have Mitchell Robinson. And then, again, Mikal, the thing with I love Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is my favorite player in this league. But he proved last year that he's not a one. He's not a one. The first year he was in Brooklyn, when the Suns first traded him to Brooklyn, he averaged like 26, I think, like 5 and 3 or something like that, or maybe something like that. Something like he was hooping. Last year, as the number 1 option, he still played all 82 games, but his points average dropped like 8 points. So he's not a number 1. He's not a number 1, which does not surprise me. But now he slides back into that role in which he doesn't have to bury the load offensively, especially offensively. He had to do that in Brooklyn. He didn't really have anybody else to really score or keep up with the scoring. So now he slides back into that 3 role. Maybe Cam Thomas, but even then, Cam Thomas has no, obviously, Devin Booker or Chris Paul or Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle now. Because, again, you slide back into that 3 role, right? Because you have Jalen Brunson, you have Julius Randle, the two main guys on that team. And like I said, Jalen Brunson is a superstar in this league. A superstar. Julius Randle is a star. But you slide it back into that role. And they match up perfectly with Boston. I don't think you realize they match up. If they bring back OG Anunoby, they match up perfectly with Boston. You have Mikal Bridges, who can guard Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. You have OG Anunoby, who can guard Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Right? So there goes your 2 best players. Right? Julius Randle is not really going to need him for defense. I mean, in even Boston, who are you going to put him? Who are you going to put on Julius Randle? Because you're going to have Porzingis on the big, whether it's Mitchell Robinson or Isaiah Hartenstein, whoever they end up bringing back. You're going to have Jrue Holiday on Jalen Brunson. And so Julius Randle would really have to eat in this series because Jason Tatum would be guarding him. Maybe. I mean, you put Derek White on him. He's got the height. He doesn't exactly have the size, but they match up perfectly with Boston. So this, I think, again, I'm not going to say the best team in the East because of what Boston just did. Boston ran through everybody, including, again, they got to the finals and ran through everybody. But the New York Knicks, come next season, will be in the NBA Finals and will be competing to win an NBA championship. Mark my words. If they stay healthy. I want to make sure I put that out there. If they stay healthy. If Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson are healthy, they will be in the finals. Mark my words. They will be in the finals. Again, I love this trade for New York, and Brooklyn is just loading up on first-round picks. I think they have 9 first-round picks in the next 5 years or something like that. Because obviously they got the 4 that they got from Phoenix. They got the 4 that they got from Phoenix. They got the picks that they got from Houston in the James Harden trade. They got the picks. I think Dallas only gave up 3, but they got the picks that they got from Dallas for Kyrie. So they have a load of first-round picks in the next few years. So in that time, they're going to have to go find a superstar. Whether it's in the draft, preferably you'd like to be in the draft. So if you go find a superstar in the draft, you use those first round picks to build around them. Whether you use them in the draft or whether you trade for people. But you have to find a superstar before any rebuild has to begin in terms of the Nets. But they gave up a lot. They gave up like 5 first rounders, a second rounder. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. But with that, I do want to bring in somebody new to the show, man. With again with a different point of view. I always try to bring in people that just have good insight, man, and have give knowledge of the game. And I know for sure this guy does. First time on the show. John, what's up, bro?
How you doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Nice making sure.
Yeah. Bet. Hey, man, everything good?
Yeah, everything's going good. I was actually in the other link you had sent, so I was sitting in that one for a while. I was like, man, I'm early, bro. Woke up myself excited. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good now. We're all good.
Bet that. Nah, bro. But I do want to ask. We were just talking about it. Obviously, I'm sure you saw the Mikal Bridges trade to New York. What's your reaction to that? Who won the trade? Do you think it's a good fit, etc.?
Man, my first reactions to that, definitely thought the Knicks won that trade. That's a lot of picks. For the Nets as well, I do think it's a good pickup. All those picks is nice. But I don't know. Mikal Bridges, that's a very good team, and that chemistry is going to go crazy. Chemistry means everything in the NBA, especially since, you can't just have super teams anymore. So I think it's a good trade. I do agree with you. Watch out for them in the finals for sure.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how big a fan. I love this trade. I was a huge Knicks fan, and even yesterday after the show, Kevin and I were talking. I told him the Knicks were the second best team in the East before Mikal Bridges, before this trade even came down. But now that you add another defender, you add another scorer. Mikal Bridges, he was drafted to be a 3-and-D player. He was 18th overall pick. The Suns drafted him 18th overall. He was drafted to be hopefully that 3-and-D guy. He is so much more than that now. He can shoot the three, but he can also put the ball on the floor, get to his spot in the mid-range and shoot and hit those shots consistently. So I think they are the second best team in the East. Again, I don't want to discredit Boston because what they just did is ridiculous. How they just ran through everybody. The Knicks right there. I think they're better than Philly. I think they're better than Milwaukee. I think they're better than Indiana. Again, I think they just solidified that number 2 spot at the very least. They just solidified that number 2 spot in the East. What do you think, Kev?
I pretty much agree with what you said. Maybe not going all the way to the finals just yet because we haven't seen how this team is going to do with the addition of Mikal Bridges. That's why I still have Boston ahead because they still have their roster. They still have their key role players, their starters, their stars. So I mean, they could make it. They could run it back and they could repeat. And I wouldn't be surprised if they repeat as well, especially given the talent they have on that team. With the Knicks, I do have them at the 2 spot now. With the addition of Mikal Bridges, it's just we haven't seen how they play yet, and we won't know exactly how exactly they'll mesh or gel well together until around the All-Star break.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. The chemistry is and John mentioned it. Chemistry is huge, and obviously they won multiple championships together. Those 4 and Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart.
I think it was 2 in Nova.
They won 2, right?
I believe so.
It might have been 3. I don't know for sure. But John, you looked like you were gonna say something. What were you gonna say?
No, yeah, I agree with Kevin as well. I think we do have to see how things play out at the All-Star break. But for me, my early favorite is definitely the Celtics. But number 2, I love the Knicks. I love the Knicks basketball, man. They play with a lot of heart, play with a lot of hustle, great aggression, great on the boards. Always been a good rebounding team as well for a couple of years. Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, that'll help you out as well on the glass. So it does it, and you have Mikal Bridges. I feel like they just need more wing. If they can keep everyone and just keep everyone healthy, yeah, this team's pretty scary.
Yeah, I cannot wait to watch this team play basketball. I cannot wait. But John, I gotta ask. I don't know for sure who's your team.
I'm a Laker fan, man. I'm a Laker fan, like a hardcore Laker fan.
You're a Laker fan.
Yeah, I'm not no LeBron. I was there for the days, man. Robert Sacre, Jordan Hill. That's the team I grew up on.
Oh,
Kobe was
man.
old and he had like worn
The
out
dark
legs.
days, right there.
Yeah, those the Jordan Clarksons,
Yeah, I
the
used to love
Steve
Jordan.
Blakes.
Jody,
Jordan.
Meek, don't even get me started, bro.
Oh
Love
man.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, JJ Redick obviously is the new head coach. Do you like the addition or the addition? Do you like the signing? Do you think they should have went with somebody else?
I was really liking that Dan Hurley, man. I was really hoping we get Dan Hurley. I'm not super big on college basketball anymore, but I'm very familiar with the name. JJ Redick, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, good basketball mind as well. But I was definitely preferring Dan Hurley. But I hope JJ Redick does well. I like the energy at the press conference. That's what I typically want in head coach. You know, Darvin Ham did pretty well at the press conference as well when I watched his. So I can't say too much about that. So we got to wait and see.
Yeah, you got one, Kev?
I was just gonna point out, Darham may have been good in the press conferences, but I bet you in those conferences, he definitely had his hands in his pockets.
100%. 100%. I don't know what's in that pocket that he likes to play with, but he likes his hands in his pocket.
Yeah, I don't know if he just has a stress ball in there or something that he's just squeezing on, but whatever it is. The draft is tonight. NBA draft is tonight. Lakers got the 17th and the 55th pick in the draft. I'm sure, or the first round, maybe. The first round of the draft is tonight. What are you looking for the Lakers to do with that 17th overall pick?
Man, the Lakers with a pick. That's crazy. I mean, last year I was hoping we were going to go sign Cam Whitmore. I just kind of like the size that he had. I didn't mind Chippa Jafino, but we just don't really play anybody. That's our issue. Anyone we draft, I'm fully behind, but I definitely think we need some more wing shooters for sure. If we're going to get a guard, he's got to be good defensively. Can't have a guy who's just out here like another D'Lo clone. Got to have a guy who can play some defense. If we're going to go with bigs, definitely got to draft a big that can also stretch the floor a little bit. It doesn't have to be crazy, but we just need to have some shooters around LeBron right now. It's a pain. It's a pain. I love D'Lo, but he's got to do better for sure.
Well, we differ. I hate everything about D'Angelo Russell, so I actually hope he breaks his toe in the offseason.
Dang, that's tough. I was a D'Lo fan. I loved him. I loved him come out of Ohio State. I was loving it, but you know it did pain me to see him get traded. But I do support my guys. You know, I gotta support them until they're off the team, and then I can talk a little bit more trash.
Hey man, listen, I'm an Ohio State football fan. When it comes to football, I'm an Ohio State fan, but I don't really care for Ohio State basketball. But so that's why D'Lo's a give or take for me. I'll live or die without him. But Kev, you got anything
for the Lakers or for my team?
Either one.
Well, John did bring up about getting a 3-and-D wing, shooting guard or wing. I hope they don't draft this one guy. Because I want the Cavs to draft this one guy at the number 20 spot. I don't know if you guys know too much about Jacoby Walter from Baylor. 6'5" shooting guard. He reminds me a lot of Mikal Bridges actually. He can play defense from the 1 to the 3 spots, and he can also knock down the 3 ball as well. And I feel like that's someone where a lot of teams are gonna be keeping an eye out for from spots 15 through 20, 21. So I'm hoping he falls into our hands because I feel like he'd be the perfect fit. Because I told Jamal I wanted Stephon Castle, but he's probably gonna go top 10, top 5 in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's just a very talented player in this draft class. Another person that I want us to kind of like look into is Justin Edwards. Before this season that just went by, going back to last season, that when they were doing mock drafts, he was projected to go lottery pick, top 15, top 10. He didn't have the best season last year in college. But if we look into what he can bring to the table, he's a 6'8" wing. And our team we could use wings, so that's someone we should keep an eye out for as well.
Okay. Yeah, man, it's this draft class is not the deepest. It's definitely not the deepest it's ever been. But there's also been draft classes like this that have stars that have had stars who made an impact. So Donovan Mitchell being one of those guys. So in terms of the 6'5" Jacoby Walter, that's an interesting name that you brought up, just because you already have Donovan Mitchell. So would you? And I know you've talked a little bit about moving Donovan Mitchell to the 1, which I hate that idea. If I'm personally, if I'm a Cavs fan, because I think that's just putting that much more on Donovan Mitchell in order for him to be able to facilitate and then still score at a very high and efficient level. So I think it makes it more difficult for him. I think Donovan Mitchell works better off with a true point guard. So that's an interesting name that you brought up. But John, the Lakers got the 55th pick in the draft. I think that pick will be going. I think LeBron James Jr. will be picked there at that spot. What are your feelings about Bronny?
Man, I think Bronny's got some room to grow. I do think he's got a future in the league for sure. They're giving some comparisons to like Drew Holiday. I'd love that. If you're anything close to Drew Holiday, I'd take that 100 times out of 100. So, hey man, I'm a full fan of Bronny as well. If he comes in and he can at least just shoot the ball and just play a bit of defense and just give you some hustle and play with some heart like you want to play for the Lakers, and I'm looking forward to it. If we do pick him with that pick, it's going to be fun to see him and LeBron play. I think I was looking online and they were saying like, you think LeBron would give the same type of negative body language to Bronny if he were to do something negative? I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, I do support Bronny. I'm looking forward to seeing him hopefully in Laker gold.
Kev, what you think?
I think with that 55th pick being that low in the draft, being at the very end of the draft, I feel like it's like you got nothing to lose. And I feel like if you want to go and see how Bronny does, especially because it's just raw talent. When you look at Bronny, you didn't see much of him in USC because he was outshined by Isaiah Collier, who was actually going to be a lottery pick. I looked at the mock drafts; he's projected to go 13th, 12th around that time. So he didn't get to showcase his talent and skills at USC, but I mean we've seen what he can do defensively. We've seen what he can do a little bit on the offensive side. So the upside is there. And also having the genetics of LeBron James. I mean, you're gonna have the athleticism and you're gonna have the potential. So with the 55th pick, if they do select Bron, I feel like you got nothing to lose, and I feel like it could be a solid pickup for them.
If I'm being honest with Bronny, I want him to go anywhere but LA. I want him to go anywhere but LA, because here's the reason why. You go to LA. Obviously, your father is LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time. You go to LA. Now, even if you're getting minutes, people are looking at it, oh, the only reason why you're getting minutes is because your dad's on the team, right? So even if you're getting minutes, people are still looking at you like you haven't earned those minutes. So if he goes to another team, earns those same minutes, and earns a spot in the rotation or on the roster or whatever it may be, I think that'll be better for him, not only career-wise, but as a man, like personally, and a lot easier on his mental, because I think it's just a lot. I mean, obviously his name is LeBron James Jr. He changed. They didn't change it, but people call him Bronny. But his name is LeBron James Jr. So there's a lot to live up to in terms of that. Obviously, I don't think we'll ever see any LeBron, whether it's his kid or not. I don't think we'll ever see another LeBron. But I just want him to go somewhere and be able to prove he can play. He works hard. He works ridiculously hard. So when he does get drafted, I'm not saying that the only reason why he got drafted is because he's LeBron's kid, but because he works very hard. He's earned a spot. And John mentioned Drew Holiday, and I've also said it before. I think his absolute peak is Drew Holiday, because his scoring ability, he can't score like with the Jalen Brunsons of the world, with the Kyries of the world, with even the prime Chris Pauls of the world, or he can't score with them, but he's a very good defender. Defense, I don't think he'll struggle on. I don't think he'll struggle on at all defensively. But in terms of offensively, I think he's a catch and shoot guy. Maybe he can develop into putting the ball on the ground, attacking the rim, get into the mid range, get into his spot. But right now, I think he is strictly a 3-and-D guy. I think right now that's the max potential he has right now.
I feel like that's stretching a bit too because his 3 ball isn't that consistent as well. He's shown that he can knock the 3 shots down a couple of times, but it's not like consistent. I would say another comparison that I could see as well as Lonzo Ball.
Okay, but the only thing with that is I don't think he can pass like Lonzo Ball.
I mean, it's because we haven't seen what he was able to do at USC. Like I said, he was overshadowed by someone that was a lot more talented than him. But I think given time and given the training, I feel like he could transition into someone like Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think that's fair. I think Bronny would be not as good as a defender as Lonzo might be initially, for sure, but I feel like he can develop that. But I do think he's going to be a better shooter than Lonzo off the grid. Lonzo had those issues with his shot, though, so you got to take that into account. But, I like the Lonzo Ball comparison as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Bronny is definitely at the point in time in which they're drafted. Bronny is a better shooter than Lonzo Ball. So that's a very good point. Now, Lonzo Ball did end up developing somewhat of a jump shot. We'll see if he comes back this year. But that's the thing, man. If Bronny can develop into an impact player on a winning team, I think that'll be a win for him. I think that'll be a win. But I just don't think that'll be this year. And I also don't know what team it'll be for. He'll probably get drafted by the Lakers tomorrow night, but we'll have to see. But John, I don't know that for sure, but I think Kevin might have told me that you're also a baseball fan.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little backstory. Back in 2021, I used to be heavy on baseball. I used to work at Planet Fitness, and I didn't have much else to do really, other than like clean and do much else. So I used to watch a ton of baseball because I used to be on just 24/7. So used to watch a lot of baseball. I used to watch a lot of baseball growing up. Me and my dad always used to go to baseball games like 2 or 3 a year. I'm a big Dodger fan, big Dodger fan. Very, very happy about Shohei Ohtani and company, as you may guess. But what's your team? Are you all Arizona or
all Arizona? All Arizona.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. I like the D-backs too. I'm not a big hater of many teams except the Astros. That's it.
I'm with you. I'm the Astros I hate, but I'll be 100% with you right now. There's no team in sports that I hate more than the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes, I love it. No, I love it. I enjoy it.
I will say, I hate Dodgers more than anything. And so when we swept them last year in the playoffs, I could not be more happy. Hitting.
I'm used to it. I'm used to the playoff failures, man. I'm really used to it. So I was like, just throw the Dodgers here, to be honest.
I mean, for the year that they had, and then to go in. So for us to come into go into Dodger Stadium, beat them games 1 and 2. First of all, Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly were fantastic. Merrill Kelly was fantastic throughout the entire playoffs. If we would have won the World Series, he would have been World Series MVP. I have no doubt. Either him or Ketel Marte, and I want to get into Ketel Marte here in a minute. But they were Merrill Kelly was fantastic throughout the entire playoffs. Obviously, he's hurt right now. And I don't think he's coming back until like mid-August. So it's still got a couple months for him to come back. But speaking of injuries, Mookie Betts, obviously, believe he has a hand injury. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future. But you still have Shohei and Freddie, who both homered last night, actually, in Chicago. So what are your feelings about the Dodgers so far this season?
Right now, regular season Dodgers, you gotta separate the two. Postseason Dodgers, regular season Dodgers, they're 2 different entities. They're 2 different beings. Baseball's a long sport, as you may know, so you gotta really wait until things get closer to the postseason. I like the path right now. I just wish everyone stays healthy and things go well, because that's how it kills us. Bullpen, our starting lineup be injured sometimes too. So it's like, man, we just gotta really stick it out. And hopefully we stay healthy, stay consistent, and get it out there. If we don't win this year, I consider it a failure. we have to win this year.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree, and I think the thing that's really, or obviously you have Shohei Ohtani who's playing at a ridiculous level this year, and obviously he can't pitch. He's coming off of Tommy John, but the thing that Timmy is your guys' rotation right now has been very good. Tyler Glasnow has been very good. Walker Buehler is still hurt, but the rotation has been pretty good so far this season. Freddie's, I think, still coming into his own. He's taken a little while. But how much has the loss of Mookie Betts has it hurt them as much as you thought it would, or are they just kind of smoothing going along?
I'd say not necessarily. I think we have a really good clubhouse. I think our atmosphere is pretty good. We're always very upbeat and happy. So I think losing Mookie to injury isn't too bad. I know he's still going to bring that energy, and that's all we really ask for with Mookie is that energy. As you said, Freddie's coming into his own, which I always love. And Shohei's always just a spark plug in himself. He's been doing great. The pitching as well with Glasnow. Whenever he's pitching, it just feels like I don't got to worry, and we should be able to get a W. So I don't think the Mookie loss is going to hurt too bad. I know we still have a lot of we could always bring up someone. We did trade for the dude from the Blue Jays, the second baseman. What was his name again?
Not with Merrifield. Kevin Biggio.
Yeah, Kevin Biggio. So, we like to fix players. We make players usable. Might as well give Kevin Biggio a shot. See how he's doing up there. Just give him a shot. Why not? So I like us. I still like us without Mookie. We'll be fine.
Yeah, Kevin. I'm glad you brought that up. I did completely forget about that Kevin Biggio trade. So that'll be interesting to slide him in at second base. And obviously Gavin Lux has played okay this year. He's been all right. Max Muncy's been okay. He's the definition of a strikeout or home run guy. So yeah, man. But
yeah, if you're a new baseball fan, watch a Max Muncy at bat, and it'll give you he's either going to strike out or hit a home run. It's
every time.
You're going to get something on a watch.
Him and Kyle Schwarber are the perfect example of home run or strikeout. I mean, Kyle Schwarber hit 211 last year.
Yeah, I know, right? He had a crazy year a couple of years ago. I remember he hit a bunch of home runs in a month, and didn't he break the record or tie the record for most successive at one point? Home runs hit. Something crazy. Yeah, he was
because June has always been Kyle Schwarber's month.
Oh yeah,
June,
it's like flight. It's like flight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly like flight. Because last year he might have been under 200 and hit 46, 45 home runs or something like that. But
yeah, that's just finger power. Pop.
Oh yeah, man. But okay, I got two more for you. One baseball one and then one basketball one because I know Kevin's not the baseball guy. So
I'm just listening. It's fine. I'm just listening right now.
He slowly but surely he's learning baseball. But I want to ask you about Ketel Marte, man. Ketel Marte has been absolute. I think Ketel Marte is the best player on the D-backs by far, and I think he's honestly this year. I think he's been a top 5 player in the league, and definitely the best second baseman in the league. So, in terms of all-star rosters, the voting has started. Who do you like? Who do you like for the starting infield? Obviously, there's a lot of competition at all the spots. Who do you like for the starting infield so far this year?
I say starting infield
in the National League. So because we both have National League teams. Yeah.
First base. I'm trying to think. Definitely Marte. Going back to Marte though, heart of that team. I've loved Marte on that team for years. Yeah. He has stuck it through. He could have left. When you guys were going, always a part of that team. But going back, I think, it's going to be Marte second base. I say third base.
Alec Bohm has been really good this year.
Yeah,
I don't know if he'll get the starting nod, but Alec Bohm has been really good.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid. I mean, he's at first base now, isn't
he? Yep.
Yeah, so I say Harper. I think he's been doing pretty good. I see Harper's doing pretty good as well. For third base, I see second base before that is maybe really just Ketel. At catcher, I'm not too familiar with many catchers right now. I just got to give my guy Will Smith a shout out because Will Smith's good. But yeah, I don't know. What about you? I'd have to hear what you have to say.
I think it's in the National League. It'll either be Bryce Harper or Christian Walker. Because Christian Walker has had a very good year so far. I think he's surpassed 50 RBIs. He has 17, I believe, or 18 home runs. So I think it's either going to be it's either going to be Christian Walker or Bryce Harper. Second base, Cattell. I mean, Luis Arias is putting up a fight, but it's going to be Cattell Marte. I mean, he's been phenomenal this year. Shortstop. I mean, you have a few options. I think Mookie had that position down pat. I think that was Mookie's spot before he got hurt.
Yeah.
You could throw Tatis in there. You could. I mean, who else? Who else are you gonna put in there? Trey Turner. But Trey Turner hasn't had the best year. So there's a few different guys. I'd probably go between those two, Trey Turner and Tatis. Third base, I like Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm has had a very good year. Manny Machado, if he's healthy, he's been healthy so far. I don't think Max Muncy will get the nod. Who else? Oh man. Yeah, it's really. I just realized I named a lot of like Phillies and Padres players, but
I mean,
those are
the Phillies are playing really good. So I mean,
yeah,
that's how it is. So
oh yeah. No, they've been the best team, at least in the National League. Possibly in the MLB all year. So
that's what I'd say. I feel like them Yankees have been pretty good. Aaron Judge, man, sheesh, that guy
ridiculous. And Juan Soto is going to get the Brinks truck backed up.
My goodness, 29 home runs, like 70 something RBIs, crazy.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous what those two are doing in New York, and I hate that Juan Soto fits there so well. But all right, I appreciate you talking some baseball with me, man. Nobody know too much baseball in here, so I don't really get to talk too much about baseball.
I love it, man. Yes, sir.
But one last thing I want to get to. This was interesting. I don't know if Kevin is still there.
I'm still listening.
CJ McCollum said something very interesting the other day. And we've talked a lot about Paul George. We talked about Paul George yesterday. CJ McCollum said if Paul George wants to win a chip and he wants to contend for a chip, Golden State is where he needs to go. John, how do you feel about that? Do you think the Golden State would be championship contenders if Paul George were to go to Golden State?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I saw a little bit of that this morning too. I feel like if he goes there, I agree. I think the Warriors were also interested is something else that I saw. But yeah, if he goes over there, I think that's a great recipe. I think Steve Kerr, them guys, they all know how to win championships. If Klay Thompson, man, I don't know if he's officially out the door. I hope he's not, because if they can bring him back on like a really cheap vet deal, having him on that team with Paul George and Curry and Draymond, it'll be very good. That's definitely a game changer. Kuminga's a bucket as well. So, I mean, if it was up to me, I know Klay shot over 10, but come on, man, you got to bring him back. If he's willing to stay back for cheap, though, no player is bigger than the club. That's what I like to say. I'm a big soccer fan. That's Inter Milan. So no player is bigger than the team. If he's not going to take a pay cut, then don't. But I do like Paul George to the Warriors. I think that's his best option for a ring at this point in his career.
Okay. Kev, what do you think?
I did see what CJ had to say, and I did talk to someone at work yesterday. He said he likes that move as well. For me, I don't see a problem with it, but I just think there's probably better options out there. We talked about the Kings yesterday, and then I talked about him going to the Magic. Maybe that won't work out, but I think there's also teams like if Dallas can somehow have the money to bring in like someone like Paul George, I just have a good feeling that Dallas is probably the best bet for him to win a title.
In terms of winning a title, now again, we talked about it yesterday. I really like the idea of Paul George going to Sacramento. I love that idea. I think that moves Sacramento right to the top 5 seed in the West. But in terms of him going to Golden State, I'm going to try as much as possible to talk about Paul George going to Golden State more than Klay Thompson, because Klay Thompson is, you know what? I'll get to him in a second. But Paul George going to Golden State, that'd be a very, very interesting dynamic between Steph, if Klay does come back, Paul George and Draymond. And Kevon Looney, I think they're looking to move him. They just guaranteed his deal for next year, but I think they are looking to move him to try and add other role players. So it'll be interesting to see who they're looking to get. I do believe they have a pick somewhere in this draft. No, they don't. It's Portland's pick. If they do not have a first round pick. So you don't have a first round pick. Obviously, they got beat up really badly by Sacramento in the play-in. I don't know. I don't know if Paul George going to the Bay. I don't know if that makes them a championship contender, especially in the West, because I say it all the time. Say Paul George does go to Golden State, Minnesota's not going anywhere. Denver's not going anywhere. OKC's not going anywhere. My team, sadly, Phoenix is still not going anywhere. Obviously, they flailed out last year, but they still have two superstars and a star on their team. Again, the Lakers aren't going anywhere. So the Clippers aren't going anywhere. I'm sure even if Paul George does go, they're going to try and spring somebody in to replace him. So I don't know if this makes him a championship contender. But in terms of Klay, dude, John, I don't know if you've seen anything about how I feel about Klay. Klay Thompson is, in my opinion, the most overrated basketball player to ever step foot on the NBA court. He is by far the most overrated basketball player to ever. He is a glorified JJ Redick. He's a glorified JJ Redick.
Glorified JJ Redick is. I feel like he's like. If I have to give my honest opinion about Klay, I feel like without Curry by his side, he definitely wouldn't be the same player. He definitely wouldn't get the same looks. That's for sure. I think without Curry, I feel like he would definitely be maybe like an All-NBA second defense in his prime, like maybe one or a couple times, not consistent, but a couple times. I feel like Draymond and the whole system definitely elevates him because you can get away with a lot offensively when Curry's your dance partner, and you can get away with a lot defensively when Draymond's your dance partner. So, I see your point. I do see your point, but it's like, come on, man, he's got 4 rings.
But here's the thing. And here's the thing. And I'm glad you brought that up. We just saw Boston go win a chip, right? Who was the turning point? Who was the turning point? Who was the key piece they added this season to help to go win that chip?
Drew and Porzingis, I'd say both of them. I'd say both
of them for sure. If you put Drew Holiday on the Warriors team for however long Klay Thompson's on that team, they will still go win 4 championships.
Yeah,
I'm willing to bet my life on it.
Drew Holiday is like the best role player. He's one of the best like third stars, second like you can ask for in NBA history, in my opinion.
In NBA history,
hustle is unmatched. Unmatched hustle. 99 hustle in 2K doesn't give him enough credit. Dude is always hustling. Fantastic IQ, good like motor, knows what to do on the court, right guy. In the huddle, he's active. He's a very, very good teammate, very good player. I love Drew Holiday.
Yeah. And the reason why I said that is because Klay Thompson is replaceable.
He is.
Klay Thompson is replaceable. Steph Curry is not replaceable. As much as I hate him, Draymond Green is not replaceable.
Yeah.
Because of the defense that he brings and his ability to facilitate. There's not too many guys you can bring in that can play that defense at that high of a level and still facilitate at the 4 spot.
At that age, too.
At that age. So, but Klay Thompson is replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Kevin Durant is not replaceable.
No.
You cannot. There's nobody that can replace Kevin Durant. And then there's a reason why Klay Thompson has never been in the conversation for MVP or to start in any All-Star game or any first team All-NBA or anything like that. I mean, like I said, we had the conversation last week. Again, Klay Thompson. There's a reason why there's so many other how do I put it? He's so replaceable. That's the thing with me. He'll be a Hall of Famer, and I'm not taking away his shooting ability. He is a top 5 shooter that's ever touched a basketball. But Klay Thompson is extremely replaceable. Like I said, he is a glorified JJ Redick. He can shoot the ball better than JJ Redick, and he can play a little bit. He can play a little bit of defense. I think his defense was overrated, but he can play a little bit of defense. That's the reason why I say he's a glorified JJ Redick.
Before his injury, he was actually not he was a pretty good defender before his injury in 2019. 2019.
Absolutely, he was. He was very good at shuffling the feet. I think that was part of the system why Golden State was able to just switch on everything because he was very, very quick on his feet. He was pretty strong as well. good in the post, had good post defense. But yeah, he was good before the injury, but still, I don't think he wasn't like, I'm gonna take your cookies and like bully you. Like he's not that crazy.
Like he defensively, he's never been on Drew Holiday's level.
Yeah, no,
Drew Holiday's not even close.
Yeah, Drew Holiday's crazy.
Not even close.
He's a bullier. He'll guard you 94 feet for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's the reason why I say if you take Klay Thompson off that team, actually I'm gonna go a step further and say this: you switch careers, switch Drew Holiday and Klay Thompson. The Warriors have more than 4 rings. The Warriors have more than 4 rings. They beat LeBron in 2016. They who else? That's the only time they lost, actually, huh? That's the only time they lost.
No, I think so. Yeah, if they get Drew Holiday in 2019 against the Raptors.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, they lost the Raptors.
I think they win that series.
I think they can win that series.
They win that series for sure. Because they were super injured that series. If they get Drew Holiday in there,
absolutely, I absolutely agree. Because 2016, Kyrie does not play as well as he did if Drew Holiday is guarding him. Let's just be honest. And the proof is in the pudding. We saw it this year.
Yep.
We saw it this year. So Drew Holiday is on him in 2016. The Warriors win that series.
Yeah, it's a different series for sure, 100%.
Absolutely.
You can put Drew Holiday on a lot of people. You can put that man on LeBron. He'd still do some damage. Like he's very, very capable of that. He's very good.
And people want to talk about his shooting. Yes, Klay Thompson is obviously the better shooter than Drew Holiday. But Drew Holiday is a career 38% three-point shooter. Klay is a 41% three-point shooter. So, again, it's not that the shooting is not that huge of a difference, but the defense is huge difference. It's a huge difference. And the impact is a huge difference. So, like I said, Klay Thompson is very replaceable, and I think a lot of people give him a lot more credit than he should be getting. But yeah, that's it's interesting, man. That's it. It's interesting. So, and then again, Klay Thompson, in my opinion, is the most overrated basketball player, NBA player. Again, people want people throw Ben Simmons into that conversation and some other people. In my opinion, I think Klay Thompson got way too much credit for the Warriors dynasty. Obviously, it was Steph. Steph was number one at leading that Warriors dynasty. KD was second. Draymond was third.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it a buck.
I'd say more so it's like when KD joined, I'd have KD in terms of impact over Curry, but Curry was 100% the leader. I think KD
for sure.
has easy moments in the finals, but Curry is definitely the leader. I don't think KD really ever had the locker room, to be honest. It just felt like a 2K signing where they just signed him, and it's like, oh well, we're gonna win like 4 rings, and they didn't win 4 rings, and that's why I left. So.
Exactly. And no, for sure. And the only reason why I put KD at 3 is because in terms of like the entire dynasty, KD was only there for 2 of the rings. But in terms of all 4 of the rings that they won, Steph is number 1, Draymond is number 2, KD is number 3, and at 4 you could put Iggy, could put Klay.
Right.
Yeah, and so
change them up to be. I definitely have Iggy. Yeah. I'm not like Game 6 Klay in the finals in 2019 was crazy. If he doesn't get hurt and he finishes that game, maybe I'd place him over Iggy. But Iggy was like always doing his job. He was always doing his job and more, especially in that first win. First one he was going crazy.
Yeah. There's a reason why he won Finals MVP.
Yeah, Iggy got a Finals MVP.
Yeah. So, what do you think about all this, Kev? I think it looks like you're playing the game or something.
I was actually multitasking right now. I mean, we pretty much talked about the Klay Thompson topic. I don't know how the hell we got to the Klay Thompson topic from going from Paul George over to Klay Thompson. That's
my bad. That's my bad. My disdain for Klay Thompson is overpowering.
The hate, huh?
I cannot stand Klay Thompson. Oh my god.
For me, I kind of like Klay Thompson a bit more than you, Jamal, only because when I play basketball as a 3-and-D player, and so it's like I can relate to Klay. You know, you go out there, just play some defense, shoot some threes. I mean, that I can relate, and that's why I kind of like Klay more. But I mean, you're not wrong. Clay, switch out Clay for Drew Holiday. They could win four rings. They could win 5. Who knows? But defensively, Drew does have the upper hand over Clay. Shooting wise, yes. Career wise, they're like very close on the 3-point percentage wise. But the only thing I'll disagree with that career wise is Clay does give you more volume and he does shoot a lot more 3 balls. So his stats are gonna be a lot better than Drew in my opinion when it comes to the overall shots. But if you need a clutch bucket, both of them can give you that to you. For me, I just kind of like Clay more on the shooting wise. Defensively, I
Oh
like
yeah.
Drew, but my hate for Clay isn't as much as yours. I just think Clay isn't one of the top shooting guards of all time. I just think he gets a little more hate from you.
Well, no, it's because people give him way more credit than he should be getting. Like I said, how do I say it? The ability, the shooting ability, the shooting difference between Drew Holiday and Klay Thompson is a lot smaller than the defensive ability is between Drew Holiday and Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, like I said, is a top 5 shooter in this league, or in this league's history, in the history of the league. I will not take that away from him. Whether you put him, he's not 5. He's not 5. I'll tell you that right now. He's not 5. He's top 4. But it's just the impact that he had is very, very overrated. Very overrated. There are other players who made more of an impact than Klay Thompson did. That's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest thing for me. Is that other players on that team didn't get enough credit because Klay Thompson did this, and that. But nobody gave well, I guess people did give, but Andre Iguodala, right? We were just talking about him. Andre Iguodala had a huge impact on that team. Jordan Poole was the second best player on that team in 2022, in my opinion. And then Andrew Wiggins, and then Draymond Green. So there were better players than Klay Thompson who had a bigger impact. So that's how I feel about Klay Thompson. And in terms of Paul George, I think he'd be a good fit. I don't know if that would boost him. I don't know if that would boost the Warriors to maybe a top seed. I think they make the playoffs for sure, but I don't know if that boosts them into like a top 5, top 4 seed. Like I said, I love the idea of Paul George in Sacramento, playing alongside De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, and obviously Malik Monk, who they just re-signed. I think that's a big 4. I think that's a fantastic rotation. And then you also have Kevin Huerter coming back from injury. So I think I really love Paul George in Sacramento. But that is going to wrap up the show today, man. John, appreciate you so much for coming on, spending a few minutes with us, bro.
Yes, sir. I had fun. I'll be on here a lot more frequently. I got a lot more time now. So
Facts.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Facts. Big facts. Obviously, with football season coming up, we didn't get to talk about football today. But football is coming up with training camp. Obviously, the draft is tonight, so we'll be definitely talking more about that. And I can finally say it: baseball, the All-Star break coming up, and obviously going into September and October, later in the year. But that's gonna close it out for today, man. Again, appreciate you, John. Kev, as always, thank you for coming on here, man. We will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Reacting to the draft. Oh, wait, no. I lied. We're not going to be back tomorrow. I work tomorrow. So I don't know. We might do a show tomorrow. I'm not sure. Might do the show tomorrow a little later in the day. We'll see. But don't know about tomorrow. But Friday for sure we'll be back. Friday we'll be back and going into the weekend to react to the first and second round of the draft, to see where Bronny went, to see what the Cavs did, what the Lakers did, what the Suns did with that 22nd overall pick. But so we'll be back Friday. Close it out for today. For John, for Kev, for yours truly, we are out, and I will see you Friday. Deuces.
Yeah.